Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm back with another apartment renovation, and we are renovating 1321 Chic Street in the fashion district of San Myshuno. And this is going to be a messy and cluttered apartment for a couple of roommates who are students. I was kind of imagining they either did school online or traveled to Brightchester to attend the university there. And I really just wanted to make a very cluttered space inspired by the two new kits that just came out, the kitchen clutter kit and the restoration workshop kit. And I wasn't sure originally what sort of Sims I was going to make this home for, other than I wanted to use those. But then I placed down the fridge and there's a swatch here that has a bunch of Brightchester University stuff on it. And it was an immediate decision that it was going to be for some college roommates. So I really hope you will enjoy this build. If you do and you'd like to download it, it will be available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will be in the description down below as well. While I did heavily use those two new kits, I did not limit pack usage in this build, so there's actually quite a few packs. So apologies on that if it's something you want to download and you don't have all of them, but I did want to mention there's actually a sale going on right now on the EA app. Let me actually find the info on that and I will insert that here. The Sims is having another big sale on the EA app and I really don't want you to miss out. From now until May 15th, you can score packs for much lower prices. Tons of expansion packs are 50% off, like Growing Together, Horse Ranch, For Rent, Lovestruck, and tons more. And Life and Death is even on sale for 38% off. Plus, there's discounts on game packs and stuff packs as well. And if you do decide to pick something up, please consider using my creator code Gryphi at checkout. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help to support me as a creator through a small commission on your purchase. So thank you so much for considering, and thanks to EA for sponsoring this portion of the video. So yeah, pretty good time to pick up some things on sale if you're interested. No obligation, of course. I just wanted to let you know. And thank you to everyone who has ever used my code. It honestly means a lot. So thank you, thank you. Anyway, back to the build at hand, and we're going to talk about these cereal boxes and the cutting board. I'm very excited about this cutting board. I showed a lot of excitement for it when I did my overview of all the items that came with the kitchen clutter kit, but it's very frustrating in that it works just like the cake stand that came with the Party Essentials kit, which is the items on top of it disappear a lot, especially when you're changing wallpapers. So you're going to see the cereal box on top just pop out of existence a few different times. I don't end up actually putting it back in the end. I do a couple of times, but in the end, I decide to actually put that on the coffee table instead. Maybe somebody was snacking out of the cereal box there. So that was the decision, which is a little frustrating because I love that cutting board item. I think it is so beautiful. I just wish the items would stay stacked on it. So that was a little frustrating. And then the couch that I have placed down here in the living room is from the Basement Treasures kit. And I do keep the couch, but I don't keep it in this striped swatch, but I will be keeping it that way for pretty much the entire build. I changed it sort of last minute. It just didn't feel quite right when I was taking screenshots. So it'll be the plain blue swatch instead of this striped one. But for the table, I stuck right behind the couch. That is the one that you can get from Dumpster Diving and Eco Lifestyle. It's from The Sims 1 originally, and I just thought it was perfect for this build. I really was kind of imagining that the living space here is a lot of old furniture, thrifted things, items found out by the dumpster, hand-me-downs, and then there's a little bit more newer items or slightly more personalized items in the bedrooms, as I think it would make sense that lots of roommates have come through this apartment over time. And so they keep all the furniture for the most part the same out here, but in their bedrooms, it might be more specified to their particular majors. Although there are some things that lean towards the majors that I imagine these Sims would have. Hopefully that makes sense. You can let me know if it did. And with that, one of the Sims in this apartment was a little bit more into athletics, but also plants. Their room has kind of a mixture of those two themes. I didn't put any actual planter boxes in there, but there are decorative posters and there's plants throughout the apartment. And then the other Sim I was kind of imagining was into art. And that just came to be from some of the items I placed down, and I started getting that feeling, and I really wanted to use the Artist Studio kit, which is also very clutter focused. And since I really wanted this whole space to feel so cluttered, I thought it was the perfect fit. And so I'm excited to show that bedroom. I think it's my favorite of the two. But right now we're dealing with how to cover up the body outline on the floor in this apartment. As this is a needs TLC apartment, it does have a few quirks, I would say, including a body outline. There's also a electricity box, some leaky pipes, mouse holes, a vent in the floor. There's a bunch of stuff in here. And sometimes I do use the tool mod to go ahead and delete all of those things, but since I wanted this to be a messy apartment anyway, I thought it'd be kind of fun to keep them. And I had my mods disabled because the new packs just came out, so I didn't have the option to use tool at the moment anyway. Although I don't think it needs to be updated with this latest update, so it should be fine in future builds. I just didn't use it in this one. Anyway, cluttering up the kitchen now, I used a lot of these like snap containers that are full of all sorts of food, and I loved how that looked. I also put a jar of pickles up on one of the shelves, and I cluttered up the top of the fridge with a cereal box that's actually from the Outdoor Retreat game pack and the new scale from the kitchen clutter kit, which I thought was really cute. I also got a jar down here, I believe some oven mitts and some plates. I just really wanted to use as many of the items as possible. I didn't use all of them, but I did use quite a few, and I really like how it looks in this space. I feel like this can fit for so many different kitchens. My first thought was like a family home, but obviously that's not what I created here, and I feel like it just works so nicely. I love that the sink actually has like a sponge and a cup and stuff in it. Having a not empty sink is so realistic, and the grocery bag, that is so nice. We have a debug one, which is the one that arrives if you get groceries delivered if you're living in Henford-on-Bagley with Cottage Living. But having a decorative one that is much more substantial is such a nice addition. I'm very happy about that. It's just so nice to get more items in the game that feel like regular everyday clutter. And I know we have a kit that's the everyday clutter kit. There's a few clutter kits now. But I feel like there's just always room for new pieces like that. And there are a few things that I was hoping for in the kitchen clutter kit that we didn't get, like some glasses to put out on a shelf, like a water glass or a juice glass or something like that, because we do have mugs from everyday clutter, but we don't have like glasses to put out. And we have a few different stacks of plates now from various packs, and we got another one with this one, and I do like it. However, I'm not sure I would prefer it over having something like glasses that we don't have yet. So that's just an example of one thing. Another thing that would be nice, although I'm not sure if I would want this as a not functional item, but it would be kind of nice at some point to get like a toaster or a blender. Things like that would be cool, but I'm not sure how they would implement that. Probably not in a kit. Those would probably be gameplay focused in some way. But I feel like there's still lots of room for items that would be nice to see in our kitchens. And hopefully those can be added in future packs. I really don't know what to expect at this point. I've said this before. We're past the point of our expected packs in The Sims, and really anything could happen. But anyway, back to the build. In the hallway here, I actually have an item I'm going to be deleting. I always forget that little key rack from the Everyday Clutter Kit, if it's in a one-tile hallway, it blocks the doorway from being used. So your Sims could not get in here with that. So I did end up having to delete it. And I do end up moving a couple of items around and deleting a few things to make everything functional, because the bedrooms actually ended up being a little bit tight. And in the one I'm placing down the blue bed in, which I will be changing to a different blue bed. But this one ends up having a dresser that is not functional. No matter how much I moved stuff around in here, I couldn't get it to work, but it does have a full-length mirror, so your Sims can still plan and change their outfits. And there is a dresser your Sims can reach in the other bedroom. So I thought it was fine in the end because everything else was functional, but I did want to mention that when I was playtesting, the main issues I came across were the dresser in one of the bedrooms and the key rack in the hallway. So you might notice a couple of changes with those in the uploaded version on the gallery. So I am going to kind of pop back and forth between the two bedrooms after I decorate the bathroom, because I wasn't really sure where I wanted everything to go. But for this bathroom, I am using the shower tub combo and the sink from Parenthood, and I really keep this room pretty green and blue. It's kind of matching the color scheme of the kitchen, but with different tiles. And I try to put a bunch of clutter in here. And of course, the bathroom clutter kit came in such handy for this one. There's extra rolls of toilet paper. I have a candle in here. There ends up being lots of like various lotions and extra toothpaste tubes on the sink. I just really wanted it to feel like it's a space that's being used. And it's realistic to have a bunch of stuff out on your countertops in your bathroom. I know my counter is so cluttered because we have almost no space. It's kind of similar to how much space this sink has. And so where do you put everything? It never looks nice and neat. So I tried to do that in here. You can see me moving some more stuff onto the back of the toilet. And then I should be getting a over the toilet storage cabinet piece here. And I believe I get a little hand towel. And then there's going to be some messy towels over here. I believe these ones are also from the bathroom clutter kit. They just look like they've been thrown up there, not nicely folded, and that felt quite realistic to me. But that's it for that bathroom, and we are starting on this room. I don't actually end up keeping this rug pink. It ends up being yellow in the end, and I am going to change the wallpaper color a few different times. And this is going to be the room for the sim that is more athletic and also enjoys greenery. So that was the idea behind it. And then the other bedroom is going to be for an artist. I decided on that because I thought it had a nicer like space. It was bigger, so I could fit in an easel and stuff. And while I have like corner windows in both of these rooms, for some reason I think of the other one as the corner window room. Not sure why that is. So I really wanted to implement that here. But here I am picking out some artwork or posters for above the bed. And I wanted to bring in one of those little flags from the university as well. And I also ended up getting a flag from Get Together. And at first I put the butterfly, but I'm pretty sure I changed it to a weight a little bit later on as the idea for this sim kind of evolves. I also ended up getting some shelves up above one side of the bed since there wasn't room for a dresser for this sim to be able to get into the room still. If I put a bedside table next to it, you wouldn't be able to open the door. So I ended up putting a couple of decorations up there, and I wanted to have a punching bag in here, and that was more important to me than the dresser. So I do mess around with it to make sure that your Sims can use the punching bag. I play tested that. It's just they can't get to the dresser even if I shove it through the wall and it's like halfway through the window. It still doesn't work no matter what. They say the bed's in the way. And I even pushed the bed slightly into the wall as far as I could without distorting the headboard too much. And I couldn't get it to work, but there is a mirror in here, as I had mentioned, so your Sims are going to be fine, or they can go use the dresser in the other bedroom, which I did playtest as well, and it works perfectly fine. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I mostly wanted the dresser there for decoration, and if it bothers you that it's a dresser, you could probably put a like console table there instead, or a bookcase or something, although you wouldn't be able to access the bookcase. Anyway, here is that dresser, or not dresser, the shelf I mentioned, because we didn't have a bedside table. And I just have like a book, a water bottle, a hat, and an alarm clock up here. I thought it was pretty cute. I was fairly pleased with this bedroom in the end, even though it did take a while to get there because I just really was unsure of what this sim was into. And I believe I also ended up deleting those sports equipment pieces I put on the floor as well. I don't think they actually were an issue with routing, but while I was trying to figure out what the problem was, they did get deleted and I didn't put them back because I feel like they probably would be an issue. So those are gone. And then we are well into our artist's room. I really wanted to use this bed that was a pre-order or early purchase content with Lovestruck. Just like the messy bed I thought was perfect. And I love the pink and purple on it. I thought it was really cute. I paired it with a blue wall and some of these really cool art prints from the Artist Studio kit and a tapestry of a llama up above the bed as well. There ends up being lots of art and lots of photos and stuff of their friends in here. And I end up using some of the new pieces from the Pride SDX drop as well, starting with this shelf over here, which I thought was gorgeous. And I will be getting one of the flags too. I really like these ones that are more of like a tapestry. I thought it was gorgeous, and then I end up moving the photos over there and just rearranging in here ever so slightly. And then I'm going to be grabbing the same dresser that I have in the other room, but like I said, this one is going to be functional, and I get some more artwork up above there, and then we're just going to get some stuff to clutter up the top of this, including some paintbrushes and like a takeout bag of food that they probably never threw away, and some old boxes and stuff full of items that they never got rid of or they just don't have another place for. Or it could be things that they're planning to bring to donate or bring to Thrifty to sell. Either way, I liked the idea of that. That's an item from the Basement Treasures kit, which is a really good kit in my opinion. I really like that for cluttering up spaces. And I actually think that one would probably work pretty well with the new Restoration Workshop kit. And I'm really excited to play more around with that one. I didn't use it too heavily in this build. I have like a small toolbox up on the bookshelf in the living room. But other than that, I didn't really use it much here. But I'm excited to play around with it. Oh, I also have the fan from that kit. And I think it would work nicely with the Basement Treasures kit and also with werewolves. So there'll probably be a build sometime soon on the channel, combining a lot more of the like rundown items in game, because that is such my cup of tea. I cannot wait to play around with that more. Anyway, just finishing up adding a couple less touches through the living space, and then we're going to be heading on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. And a massive thank you to my YouTube members for all of your support. If you'd like to become a member yourself, you can click the join button below the video or the link in the description. Enjoy the screenshots, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye everyone.